You are always selling. Hey, what's up, everybody? Zen here with another episode of Closed One. Today, I will quickly define what sales actually means. So I think this is why sales has a bad rap, because of course you are selling something in exchange for money. But the truth is, we are always selling. And here's why. So if we define sales, a sales is a transaction between two or more people in which a buyer receives a tangible good or services or an asset in exchange for monetary values, right? For money, Bitcoin, cryptos, assets. But before money, we would barter, right? That is the ancient ways of selling. I will trade you for my cow, and I would like that hay. It's called bartering. And so this is why you are always selling. You are bartering your time to get something in exchange. And it can be applied to so many things. If you boost your sales skills, you will become a better communicator, overall a better negotiator. And you know what? Things will be more in your favor, because the truth is, salespeople are just really good communication experts. Where can we apply sales? Let's talk about that. Because the argument here is you are always selling. And that's why this channel is so applicable to you. But before we do that, let me ask you one simple question. Do you have sales skills? And where do you actually use it in everyday life? Think about it. So here's the thing. Sales and selling always has a bad rap, and that is because sales, for some reason, is now synonymous to being manipulative and being a pressure cooker. Not a pressure cooker, applying pressure as a behavior to the prospect. But if you think about that, don't you always apply some kind of pressure, whether it's on yourself or someone else? We forget the time we spend on selling. Selling is getting something in return, right? It is a bartering system. So then let me ask you another question. And you can answer this in the comment box below. You still listening? Okay, good. You're alive. Have you ever had an opinion that differs from someone else? And then did you discuss this different point of views? That is a form of selling. You are selling the other person your ideas. Let me ask you another question. Are you still here? Okay, good. So another question. Have you ever had to convince your wife to stop shopping so much? Or have you ever convinced your partner to throw out the garbage at a certain time? My wife she doesn't have to convince me. She just has to remind me, because I'll do it, and I'm pretty good with that. So no defense here. I'm not defending myself. But the point is, asking someone to do something for you is a form of sales. Another way you can apply this is if you have a child and your child is making a mess. What do you ask your child? You're gonna have to ask them to clean up, right? That is a form of sales. You're asking them to do something because you want the house clean and tidy. Ooh. Still here? Here's another one. So have you ever had to ask your company to give you a raise? That is a form of selling. Your worth. Oh, this is open. Have you ever had to convince your company for a raise? Yeah. That is another form of selling. You are providing value, and in return, you'd like to get a salary that equals your value. In the past 2 weeks or so, I've been sharing how to overcome objections. And here's why. It's to help you with the game of life, to help you communicate, to help you get the other person to understand your point of view. That's really all it is. That is the game of sales. It's the game of communication. It's the game of paradigms. It's the game of frames. And whoever can communicate the best in the most logical, most emotional, most analytical, most data-oriented way might probably win, right? And so you have to really think about each and every one of these episodes and see how they could be applied not only to sales, not only to getting revenue or getting someone to sign up, but also to align. Align as in understand one another. And when you understand each other, you can achieve for the same goals. And that is another form of sales, which is being goal oriented. If we want to buy a house, what steps are we going to take in order to buy that house? That is a form of sales. This is a proposal. I have a proposal. I want to buy a house. I have a proposal. I want to have a car. In order to get that car, we need to rebudget and reallocate all of these funds here. So, are you still up? Hello? Good. Okay, listen up. Here's why sales is so important. Let's cover the first P, parenting. As a parent, you're constantly persevering. You're constantly selling, persuading your kid to do the right thing. Take, for example, you have a child and you go into a Halloween store and they want a Spider-Man suit. Let's just say you did not have a budget for that Spider-Man suit. Are you going to negotiate and try to get them another type of outfit to stay within your budget? So that is one form of negotiation skills. Another thing that you might overlook when it comes to sales is when it comes to parenting, you need to have management skills. And so to have management skills, you need to be persistent, you need to be confident, you need to be determined, because the truth is, it's going to take a very long time, decades maybe, to train your child. And so when it comes to sales, every time you connect with a new prospect, what are we doing? We are essentially training our child, training our kid, training our prospect to learn about our product, to learn about our services, to learn about, in a parent's situation, our principles, our morals, our routines, to clean, to be healthy, to eat the right food, to not swear, to be respectful, to be generous. Like, all of these are essential to be a great human being. And as a salesperson, as the teacher, as the person teaching your kid, you have to be determined and you need to make sure you are persistent. Because they will reject you. They will say, why? Why do we have to say thank you all the time? Why do we have to use a fork and a spoon when I can use my hands to eat? And you have to explain the reasons why and overcome those objections as a parent. Provide logical reasons, provide emotional reasons, ethical reasons. And so if we were to apply this to the next P, our pals, our friends, oh gosh, you negotiate all the time. Hey, what do you want to eat today? Well, I don't know. I'm craving Chinese. Well, you know what? I'm craving nachos. Okay, well, why do you like nachos? Because the Chinese food is right there and I don't have to drive that far. Well, Chinese is cheaper, so really it's gonna be a lot cost effective if we go with the Chinese food, because you get more food for less the price. You get to drive maybe a mile out, but you actually have more options. There you go, another form of negotiation. Why is this so important? Because many things. In order to be a salesperson, you need to be honest, and most people don't talk about this. The best salespeople are honest, trustworthy. They trust themselves, therefore they trust the recommendations and suggestions that they will provide you, because they know what is good for you, right? That's what we do to one another all the time. So what kind of skills do we learn with our pals? Confidence is always a number one skill that should always be learned in sales. You have to be punctual for integrity reasons. You don't want to say, hey, I'm going to show up at 12 o'clock, and then you show up at 1 o'clock and your friend is really hungry. Perseverance. Let's say you're meeting a pal and they couldn't make it, and you really want to meet your pal for a dinner date. Then you have to persevere and you have to be patient and try to show up and give them another chance. It's the same thing with the game of sales. For a prospect that doesn't show up, oh, it's okay, prospect, let's reschedule for tomorrow. Now, let's apply this to our pets. So this one is fun because you think you're just training your pet to do what you want them to do, but the truth is it goes both ways. With those sad puppy eyes, they are negotiating with you. Those sad puppy eyes, when they want a treat, they are negotiating with you. And they're not even using words. They can negotiate with just their eyes and their demeanor and their body gestures. And you fall for it and you're like, oh, treats! Let me get you treats. And all they had to do was look at you with those beautiful, beautiful eyes. And the whimpering noise. That is how pets negotiate. Okay, partnerships. I said this earlier, with your wife, with your husband, with your partner. You're constantly negotiating. So, wife, what do you want to watch for Netflix today? Well, I'm in the mood for action. Well, I'm in the mood for horror. I'm in the mood for suspense. And you can't come up with the right decision, so you flip a coin. That is a form of negotiation skills. So here's the thing, which is very interesting, right? With your partnership communication. Sometimes your wife will tell you, like, yes, which actually means no, or no, which actually means yes. We will cover that in another episode. But fellas, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you'll get an answer, hey, do you want me to go with you? Or, hey, I'm going to go out with my friends. And they say, yes, you can go out with your friends. But really, they mean, no, you can't go out with your friends. So this is a skill which is reading in between the lines. Also very important when you're working with prospects, because you need to read in between the lines. Let's look at another example. I think we covered it all. The last one is really projects. So we've covered a little bit about work and trying to get promoted and trying to get a salary bump, and projects. As a freelancer or as an entrepreneur, you have so many projects that you put together, and each and every one of those projects require sales skills. You need to find the supplier, the distribution, the product, the designer, the engineer. And in order to do that, what you need to do is recruit them all. In order to recruit them, you need to sell your brand. You need to sell your vision. You need to help them understand what and who you are really about. And so, my friends, today's video is a short reminder that you are always selling. And no, sales is not manipulative. It is not about applying pressure. It is about effective communication skills. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you can apply some of the overcoming objection tips that I have right here, and right here, and right here, and right here. Don't forget to subscribe. So right here, subscribe right here. Thank you so much for listening until the very end, and I'm very grateful for you. Peace.